Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Reloading Chat. So I'm going to prime some brass here, and let's talk about Sean Spicer's statements about comparing Assad to Hitler. Now, the whole media and everyone is freaked out about this, but there's a method to his madness here, and I'm going to explain that shortly. But in short, Sean Spicer said when he talked about Assad, look, even Hitler didn't use chemical weapons, and then everyone's saying, well, that's not true. What are you talking about? He gassed people. He used all the cyanide gas and everything else, but he just, instead of gassing his own towns, he built towns and execution centers and death camps specifically to gas people. He used chemical warfare as a form of execution. So what are you talking about? Well, the point is, Sean Spicer was actually doing what a lot of us have been talking about. This whole thing of the left and the Democrats and leftists have won the social revolution, even though, of course, the majority of Americans are still conservative. We still have a very strong right-wing element. They won the social war, the cultural war. They won it. And they won it using certain tactics and playbooks. And what I've said is that if we want to win, we have to quit fighting fair. That's the reason we, as right-wingers, didn't win that revolution, is particularly because the media backed the other also, is because we play too fair. We play by the rules. The left doesn't do that. They believe in winning at all costs. They believe in not fighting fair. And that's the way you do any war. And people need to understand this cultural war and political war we're in is a war. It's just a different type of war. You don't play fair. You don't play by rules. That's how you lose. Rules of engagements cost you to lose. The rules of engagements cost us Vietnam. All right? The rules of engagements cost us Vietnam. It also cost us this cultural war that we lost in the last generation, that we're fighting back now and rebuilding, but we lost it. One of the tactics that they use, and what I'm suggesting is that we have to use their tactics. A lot of people on the right have been saying that. The alt-right has been saying that. We have to use the left's tactics against them. Now, there's a very, very common left-wing tactic, and when I say a common left-wing tactic, I mean it is written in their actual books. It's written in documents. It's written in emails that I like to call "everyone I don't like is Hitler." All right? That is a tactic they use. And what I mean by that, go and watch it, and you'll notice that liberals and leftists do this all the time. They compare everyone to Hitler they don't like. Anyone they disagree with is Hitler, or they compare them to Hitler in some way. Even if there's no actual logical, it doesn't make any sense. You're like, what? It works. It seems to work for these people. And it was actually noted, there's several playbooks written on it. Some of the hacked emails from the DNC, some of their guides that the Democratic National Committee had, this was actually written in there. This actual tactic was written in there. The stuff that WikiLeaks released, if you read through it, there was a guide in there in which they said that it's the best way to end any debate is to just compare the person to Hitler, and the debate is over. It's basically a trump card that you drop if you're losing a debate. You just compare someone to Hitler. And if you do it right, it demonizes them in the eyes of everyone, because everyone knows Hitler is evil and Hitler is bad, right? So it demonizes them. Well, the left did this to Trump, did they not? But there was no actual comparison. Look how many people called Trump Hitler or compared him to Hitler when technically he's the exact opposite of Hitler. Trump is a capitalist. Hitler promoted National Socialism, right? Hitler executed homosexuals. Donald Trump gave money to homosexuals and supported gay marriage. Supported gay marriage before Hillary Clinton did, his opponent. She didn't change her stance till recently. He was supporting it over a decade ago. In fact, he gave $2 million out of his own pocket to a gay rights group. Hitler killed gay people. Hitler also executed millions of Jews. Donald Trump has a Jewish daughter. His daughter converted to Judaism, married a Jew, and he has Jewish grandchildren. I want you to think about all that. All the stuff that Hitler is known for, killing gays, killing Jews, being a National Socialist. The most famous things about what he did is the exact opposite of Trump. The only thing they have in common is they were both populist, meaning they were part of a group of people inside of a country who the popular working class people elected from outside of the normal system. That's populism. That's all they had in common. all these other things, he's the exact opposite. Yet the left called him Hitler, and it stuck. They compared him to Hitler, and everyone else, and a lot of it followed, and that stuck. And they think of him that way, even though technically, when it comes to any of his stances on topics, his beliefs, he's nothing like Hitler. He's the exact opposite on the actual major topics, the major points. So any comparison to him and Hitler is insane. It's absurd. But it's worked, hasn't it? It's turned tons of people against him. There are people who still compare him to Hitler. They compare anyone who follows him to being like Nazis. When the man has promoted gay rights, has Jewish grandchildren, a Jewish daughter, and is against socialism. It's insane. It's absolutely insane, but it worked and it stuck. So the strategy is called everyone I don't like is Hitler. And you'll see leftists do it all the time. They'll call people Nazis. They'll compare them to Hitler. And it works. It demonizes people. It works very, very well. I would suggest that what Sean did was just an attempt to use this left-wing tactic. Now the problem is because he's not used to using it. The right isn't used to using it. Maybe he didn't use it perfectly. He didn't use it perfectly. You're not supposed to try to claim that someone is worse than Hitler in something that's not factually proven. You just compare them to Hitler. All right, you compare them to Hitler, and then it would have worked. Had Sean actually just said, you know, Assad is like Hitler, just slaughtering men, women, and children. He committed a genocide within his own country. He's like Hitler. That would have worked. That would have worked the same way that, you know, Trump is like Hitler because he's part of a populist rising. All right? In this case, it would have been stronger, but because he said he didn't use chemical weapons, he tried to make him worse than Hitler. That doesn't work. The strategy isn't everyone I don't like is worse than Hitler. It's that everyone I don't like is Hitler. So he got it mixed up. He messed up. And I mean, the right's going to hit some road bumps trying to use the left's tactics against them because they've mastered and perfected this stuff over the years. A lot of us are still learning how to use their dirty, underhanded tactics. And it's going to take a little time to master these things. And I'm pretty sure that's what he attempted to do. But it obviously kind of slightly backfired for him because he took it too far instead of doing it the way the left does. You have to compare people directly to Hitler. You've got to make them into Hitler. You don't try to make them worse than Hitler, because how are you going to find somebody worse than Hitler? Come on, let's be realistic here, other than maybe Stalin, who was a communist. But that doesn't work, because socialists and stuff would be like, no, Stalin was a hero. Stalin was a hero. It doesn't matter that he basically mass murdered 100 million innocent people, men, women, and children. That's besides the point. It's not as historically relevant, and the left have always kind of loved Stalin a little bit. That doesn't work. But you use the Hitler thing and it works. So in the future, Sean and anyone else on the right who's trying to understand how to use this tactic against the left, it has to be everyone I don't like is Hitler. All right, like if you wanted to use it against Hillary, that's where you point out that Hillary had emails using the N-word everywhere. She's as racist as Hitler. She promotes Planned Parenthood while using the N-word everywhere, and Planned Parenthood kills 1/3 of all black babies. She's like Hitler. She wants a black genocide. She's just like Hitler. See how that works? And particularly when you show any small amount of evidence, because there is plenty of evidence of Hillary's emails that got hacked with her dropping the N-word everywhere. We know she hates black people. We know that she had a mentor who was a KKK Grand Dragon. That's publicly documented, available stuff. We know she was a big fan of Margaret Sanger, said that she was a visionary who founded Planned Parenthood, and Margaret Sanger called for the extermination of black people. To use that and say Hillary is like Hitler. All right, see how that works? She wants to exterminate the black race. She's like Hitler, and we can prove it. There you go. See, that works. Look how beautifully that works. When you throw those things in that anyone can look up for themselves and see, oh, yeah, that is true. It's all documented. Just like Hitler. That's how you do it. You compare people you don't like to Hitler, or let's say we don't like the Saudi Arabians, right? The Saudi royals. We point out that over a dozen people are executed for being gay in Saudi Arabia every year. That's punishable by death. Hitler punished homosexuality by death. The Saudi royals are Hitler. All right, they're Hitler. They also want the genocide of Jews. They call for it. They're Hitler. beautiful tactic. You don't ever do, they're worse than Hitler. They didn't, no. The tactic is everyone I don't like is Hitler. And it works beautifully for the left. They perform it flawlessly. The right, we've got to learn how to use this a little bit better. And I gave some perfect examples of how to use this strategy. Spicer messed it up a little bit. His efforts were noble in trying to put things into a language that the left can understand. Because again, for the left, if you don't like someone, they're Hitler. They're Hitler. Got to focus in on that. They're Hitler. All right, it works. It's the trump card that the left uses and the Democrats use. So we've got to work on perfecting that a little better, guys. And that includes people in Trump's administration. You got to learn to use the left's tactics against them correctly. They've mastered these tactics. We can't use them half-ass or haphazardly. We've got to do them perfect. So remember, everyone I don't like is Hitler. And that's how you do it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.